yo. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Good people, peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. Happy Tuesday, happy Tenacious and Truthful Tuesday, back again with another episode of SRDaily, episode 470. Just 30 episodes away from our next milestone, episode 500, getting closer and closer and closer. This week, I will have an answer one way or another. If we're doing it in Queensbridge or we're doing it somewhere else, maybe in Brooklyn, right? But mark your calendars, Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. That's 30 episodes away. That's 6 weeks from today. 6 weeks from today, episode 500. We will be in person. There will be a live studio audience. There will be live guest interviews. I got some great people I'm looking to interview, man, for episode 500 on brotherhood and on healing. And it's going to be incredible, man. I'm super freaking excited. November's going to be an incredible month. November is my daughter's birthday. That's when I became a biological father, a parent, right? For the first time, right? Like officially, I've created other children that didn't make it to this physical realm, abortions and miscarriages. But November is my daughter's birthday. November is also Mona's birthday. November is also when Mona and I are both doing a 30-day fruit feast challenge where we're just consuming fruits, just high watery fruits, right? Following the fruitarian Orville Douglas, who's been an incredible fruitarian, who's helped so many people reverse so many chronic conditions and just help so many people take their health and wellness to another level. We're following his regimen of just high watery fruits, no juices, right? We're not doing cooked food now, period, but no juices, like no fatty fruits, no avocados, no coconuts, nothing like that. Just high watery fruits, mangoes, pineapples, peaches, papayas, right? Watermelons, all of the melons. Claudia, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Love, peace, and love. Good to see you here. Good to see you tuned into the show. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. This is episode 470. Again, we're just 30 episodes away from our next milestone episode, 500. Every 100 episodes, we do a live studio audience. We have guest interviews. Super powerful thing, super incredible experience. We are moving right along. Setfu Sankofa, what's going on, my brother? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Always good to see you here, my good brother. Listen, we're going to get the show started. Once again, I'm your boy, your host, LaShawn Sugar Mars. You are tuned into SR Daily. SR Daily is where personality meets enlightenment. As mentioned, we are here Mondays through Fridays, 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. This is episode 470. Today is Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. And you guys know I had a tough couple of weeks, but things keep going, right? As long as you keep living, as long as you keep going, as long as you keep moving forward, you maintain your composure, you keep your integrity, and you remember your faith. As long as you do that, the storm will pass. You will come out seemingly anew, rejuvenated, a little more enlightened, a little more peaceful, a little more calm, a little more successful, a little more powerful, because you did not feed into the temptation of emotion, right? Because emotion can tempt you, right? Even when, especially when you feel like you've been wronged, or you feel like someone is wronging you or playing with you, so to speak, right? Like you're tempted to respond, to react, but sometimes the best reaction is no reaction. The best response is no response. Maintaining your composure, especially not responding when you're in that angered state, when you're in that frustrated state, when you're in that stressful state. Because I've learned, I'm sure I'm not alone. When you say something, you can't take it back. When you respond in a way to someone, especially when it's involving something like so near and dear to your heart, right? You can't take it back, and you can cause harm. And I've learned, right, my own experience, that when I respond in anger, when I respond in frustration, when I respond, even when I feel like I'm being wronged, I end up causing myself more harm. I end up moving myself further away from whatever the goal is I set for myself, whether it's a financial goal, a physical goal, a goal with connecting deeper with family, right, with friends, with being in a certain mindset, not letting people take me out of my peace. I fuck up. But that's the nature of life, right? It's like your fuck ups lead to your breakdowns, lead to your breakthroughs. Each breakdown is grounds for a breakthrough. Again, I'm going to forever quote the legendary Les Brown: if you get knocked down, try to land on your back, because if you could look up, you could get up. So you're going to fall, you're going to stumble, you're going to trip, you're going to have bumps, you're going to have bruises, you're going to have scrapes. The key is not to make it worse, right? A lot of times things happen and we work against our own interests by our perception, right? By the stories we tell ourselves, and then how we then act on those stories, how we act on the information that we feed ourselves, right? Then that's how we delay certain progresses. We delay certain processes. But listen, guys, we're going to get right to the show. We're going to start with our first segment of the day. Sticking with the theme, today's first segment is a word of the day, and today's word is enlightened. What does it mean to be enlightened? Yo, Mom Tamilia in Cali, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Love, peace, and love. Great to see you here. Great to see you here, my childhood friend. I appreciate you. It's good to see you here on the show this morning. I hope your morning is going well. Word of the day, enlightened. A sense of clarity and understanding, inner peace, free from ignorance and prejudice, or showing much knowledge or acquired wisdom, a sense of being immersed in and surrounded by peace at all times. Let's read that one more time. Enlightened. To be enlightened, right, means a sense of clarity and understanding, inner peace, free from ignorance and prejudice, having or showing much knowledge or acquired wisdom, a sense of being immersed in and surrounded by peace at all times. Now, many people have asked throughout the course of history, many people have asked me in my journey, right? What will being enlightened do for me? I don't care about that. Well, enlightened, man. So one of the key differences of being enlightened, right, is awareness of your ignorance, awareness of the things you don't know, awareness of the things that you know you need that you may not have awareness. Key. All right, so as many people ask, what will being enlightened do for me? Valid question, right? Why should I strive to attain something? Why should I strive to be in a certain space if I don't know how is it going to benefit me, right? Because we live in a time where as humans, we're constantly thinking, what am I getting out of it? And our thought about what am I getting out of it is not so much related to who am I becoming, how am I growing, is what's tangible. What money am I getting out of it? What property am I getting out of it, right? How is this going to help? Is this going to help me alleviate all of my problems? I want my problems to go away, which is, again, is valid, but it's not real. So I would say, and something I started to do years ago with some folks, right? The question really is not what enlightenment can do for you or what being enlightened can do for you, but how does enlightenment change me? So yes, as an enlightened person, you will still face challenges. You will still face trials. You will still face tribulations. There will still be great turmoil in your personal life and in the world around you. But it's how you process what's happening. It's your perception about the events in your life that will change. That's the key. As the saying goes, when you can't change what you're looking at, change the way you look at it. When you can't change the things you see, change how you see them. That's wisdom. That's enlightenment, right? So in essence, those things transform your life. Changing your perception, changing how you see something, it does change your life. Because if somebody cuts me off in traffic, right? If we're driving and somebody cuts me off in traffic, right? Or on the train, just now on the train, and somebody's yawning with their mouth wide open, right? Enlightenment, right? Perception is, yo, they trying to play me, yo, they disrespectful, yo, what that can then fuel a fire inside of me, right? That can then make me approach the person and say something that can then lead to a conflict. But transforming my life, my mindset is a person must really be tired. That person must not know that their yawn has an impact on people, that them not covering their mouth has an impact on people. They must not have been taught that. They must not have learned that, right? Different perception. As opposed to blame, it can be sort of like having pity and just having compassion. And then something that we spoke about recently in the group is reflective curiosity, right? I wonder, were they ever taught to cover their mouth? Like, did their parents teach them? Did they learn that? Do they understand, like, when you're yawning and, like, there's people around, like, how your germs is going on people and how you're even taking in more germs, right? Right? So, different. So, being enlightened, right? One can keep out bad circumstances from taking place. And I know that for me personally, had I not been enlightened, I could have landed in prison at least 3 different times this year alone. If I had not had the wisdom that I have, if I had not been able to shift my mind and shift my perception, right? One of the 4 agreements, take nothing personal. Take nothing personal. It's not about me. People yelling at me, right? People screaming at me, people threatening me. It's really not about me. It's their own insecurities, it's their own lack of emotional control and maturity and mental stability, right? It has nothing to do with me, right? So had I not had that perception, though, maybe 3 different times I could have been in prison this year alone. So I give thanks, right, for the daily life. I give thanks daily for the light that flickers at my core. This is who I am. This is not somebody I'm trying to be. This is who I've become. I was once under light, and I once acted purely off emotion. Melia, she'll tell you, my childhood friend is here. She will tell you. She will absolutely tell you that there were times when I've acted purely off emotion, and it's got me in so much trouble, from fighting to arguments with my mom, being kicked out of the crib, to feeling headaches and injuries, right? Like breaking my phone, breaking my two-way pager, throwing it because my girl said some crazy, pure emotion and instinct, right? No logic, rational thought, right? My prefrontal cortex was not working at the time. It was not developed. It fully developed at 24, 25 years old, right? I was going strictly over the other parts of the brain, right? The other parts of the brain that, like, you know what I mean, are responsible for instinct and like they call it the primal brain, right? They used to call it the reptilian brain, but the primal brain, right, is this pure instinct, that's pure like survival, right? But like the prefrontal cortex, it allows you to think, it allows you to rationalize, it allows you to, okay, what's going on here? Sit and question and analyze, right? Analytical thought. All right. So yeah, I give thanks, man. And yeah, we here. Very true. God grant the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I learned that at young age. My older sister used to say it because she was in a drug program, and then I was in a drug program. I used to say it, and it stuck. Right? Sense of peace when you have that mentality. Absolutely. Because even when listen, I've been threatened like the last couple of years. My life has been threatened. My freedom has been threatened, right? Physical harm has been not enacted on me, but like it's been threatened to me because I have this I have this mindset now, because I have this perception now. I don't feed in. I have not fed in, and things did not escalate when they could have, and I could have gotten hurt. Not only could I could have gotten hurt badly, right? If I would feed in, but like I choose not to. I choose to disengage. Right? And it's not easy, especially when you have a past, when you engage, right, violently. So I'm grateful for the growth, for my own personal self, right, and for the betterment of the whole. Let's move right along, though, family, to our second segment of the day. Today's second segment is our Needs and News of the Day. And we got to talk about a tragedy in Queens. Tragedy in Queens last week. A very real tragedy in Queens last week. Don't know if you guys heard, but two cousins murder-suicide in Jamaica, Queens, over the sale of a family home. Two cousins got into a beef over the sale of a family home. Young men in their 30s, early 40s, and one cousin killed the other and then turned to kill himself. Let's read this article in people.com. This is from October 4th. Cousins found dead in apparent murder-suicide after alleged dispute over sale of family home. Two men in New York City have died in an apparent murder-suicide that was allegedly related to the dispute of the sale of their family home. The New York City Police Department confirmed to people that officers were called to a home in the Jamaica neighborhood of Queens at around 11:45 p.m. local time on Friday, October 3rd, after receiving reports of a gunshot. People discovered that two men, ages 37 and 41, had sustained gunshot wounds to the head. Emergency medical personnel pronounced the 37-year-old dead at the scene and transported the 41-year-old to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. A firearm was found near the older man, police told the New York Daily News. Relatives and police sources who spoke with the Daily News and the New York Post said that the two men were cousins who were in a dispute over the sale of their family's home and how much money each person will receive after it was sold. According to the outlets, the two-bedroom Queens home had been on the market for about 1 month and had an asking price of $600,000. It was an issue with the sale of the house, some disagreement with how the money was going to be divvied up. A 62-year-old man, the uncle of the two men, told the Post. The shooter was in charge of selling the house, and his younger cousin was assisting him with the sale, said the relative, who asked not to be identified. This article doesn't say the names, but another article said the names, and I didn't know the brothers, but I got some friends who knew them, and devastated, right? And it made me think of when my grandfather's house was being sold, and just the bickering that was around that. Right. Grateful there was no harm caused to anyone. No one caused harm to anyone else. There was no fighting, like physically fighting. There was no murder. But these things happen, man. It sucks. And we're going to talk about this later in the show, right? So according to the pair's uncle, the older man had given his younger cousin the power of attorney to sell the house because of his background in real estate. But the two began arguing over the sale. It had something to do with the sale of the house, the relative added to the outlets. It was something to do with the distribution of money. The uncle, who lived in the basement of the home and found the younger man dead, said he believed that the shooter may have been inside the house with his cousin's body for several hours before he turned the gun on himself. The uncle first realized that there was something wrong when the younger victim's longtime partner said she had been waiting outside for him for several hours. She said, his truck is here and I haven't heard from him. So his wife, his girl, I think they were married, or his partner, whoever she was to him. But another article said that she had used her like the geo-tracking, seeing where your partner's location is at. She used that, knew he was over there. He was supposed to pick his daughter up from school. It never showed up to the school. She had to go pick the daughter up. And now she's like, yo, like she calling, no answer. Yo, he's here, but he said, I don't know, but his truck has been here since noon. The pair entered the house to find it already dark, and that's when they discovered the younger victim's body. We had to go around into the living room area, the uncle recalled to the Daily News. When she put the light on, she saw her partner's body lying against the door. She sees him, she screams, she starts crying, he continued. He wasn't moving, he must have been there a while. The relative added that he and the woman left the house because they were concerned that the shooter was still inside. I grabbed her and I said, we got to get out of here because he's probably still in here. The uncle recalled, per the Post. She said she heard something coming from upstairs. When they were coming out, we heard the gunshot. The NYPD has publicly identified the two men, and they confirmed to people that the investigation is still ongoing. Tragic, 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 tragic. Devontae, what's going on? Full Spectrum, what's going on? Peace and love. Thank you guys for tuning in. Tragic, man. Tragic, 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 tragic. Fool said, I learned the value of taking a deep breath. Yeah, man, that's taking a deep breath is extremely valuable. Right? I think he was referring to the piece on enlightenment, being enlightened. To be enlightened, to me, to be enlightened is to be conscious. But yeah, let's move right along, family. Again, that is an absolute tragedy. Happens too often, right? The whole freaking series, Lifetime series, and all the other shows. One of my sisters used to watch all of these shows, murder shows, when families killing family members over money, over a will. Somebody got millions of dollars in their estate, and it's insane. But we're gonna get to that in our fourth segment. We're gonna move now to our third segment of the day. Today's third segment is a tip of the day, right? Every third segment, second to third segments, for those who are new to the show, changes. The first segment changes. It's either, right, and it goes in order: a word of the day, a quote of the day, a phrase of the day, then back to word of the day, back to quote of the day, right? So today was a word of the day, tomorrow's gonna be a quote of the day. But the second through fourth segments always stay the same. Second segment is always news, need to know news of the day. Third segment is always a tip of the day. And the fourth segment, which you'll hear, is always a build of the day, something that I want to share that I think we can build on, right? Getting some feedback. The third segment, tip of the day. Today's tip is to gain an understanding of what matters most to you, right? Yesterday, Mona and I had a great brief discussion about this, right? We were talking specifically about time freedom and financial freedom, but it relates, right, into so many things. But gain an understanding of what matters most to you. For some, it will be finances. For others, it will be time. For others, it will be health, right? And so on and so forth. Like, we are all influenced to some degree by our families, our communities, and society around us. But it is extremely imperative that each individual do some real contemplation on what truly matters most to them. What matters to your mother, to your father, to your brother, to your sister, to your grandmother, to your grandfather, to your uncle, to your aunt, to your cousins, to your spouse may not be most important to you. It's important to first have that, like, be grounded in what matters to you most. And then as you enter in different dynamics of relationship with different people, right, it's important to then share with them, because one of the worst things is to be connected with somebody, right, to have a certain relationship with somebody, let's say a marriage, right, a deep partnership with someone who what matters most to you is completely different what matters most to them. It can cause so much conflict simply because, like, the thing that's most important to you, the thing that's most important to them is different. Now, you can have things that are different. Of course, differences can breed a great connection. But when it's something that's like of the utmost importance and is different, that's where conflict can arise. Whether it's, I know one of the conflicts, for example, me and my ex-girlfriend, I'm black. She's Puerto Rican, right? Native American, right? One of the challenges that we had was like looking forward was like, I'm like, yo, my child, we're gonna go to a black school, right? And that was an issue, and I understand it. And so like one of the many reasons to split, because like we go forward, we have a child, I think that's going to change, she thinks it's going to change, and now we in it, and now it's major conflict, because like I'm not putting my child in this predominantly white school. I'm not doing it, right? That's not what I want for myself, for my child. I want my child to be educated by people who look like him or her, right? And to be surrounded by students, young people who look like him or her, right? In the world, yes, they're going to interact and they're going to, right? But like, this is just my personal choice, right? So yeah, man, like it's imperative that each individual do some real contemplation and then spend their entire lives in that space, unmoved by the demands of those around you, unmoved by the demand of those around you, because those around you, oh, why you care about that so much? That's not that important. Yeah, maybe not to you, and that's okay, right? Like, and even you gotta like be able to like block out the demands of your closest loved ones, your parents, your spouse, your siblings, even to a certain age, your children, right? So I made a decision a while ago that for me, for LaShawn, Jamel, Sugar Ray Marston, for me, the most important thing was time freedom. Time freedom was the most important thing. Like, I've had money, right? And we're going to get some more money, right? But time freedom is the most important thing. I don't want to ever compromise that. I'm not compromising that for anyone or anything, right? Like, now, clearly there's some times when you make a decision, like, okay, I got to make this thing happen, so I sacrifice, right? Yes, but like, grand scheme, time freedom most important to me, not money. So yes, financial freedom is a goal, but it is not the goal, right? Like, I don't know about you, but I know some people. You may know some people who are financially free. They don't even have the time to enjoy their money. They don't even have the time to enjoy their finance. They make a lot of money. All of their bills are paid for. They don't got to think about it. Auto pay, right? They got mortgage, auto pay, rent, auto pay, car note, auto pay, insurance, auto pay, everything auto pay. Phone bill, internet, everything auto pay. This subscription, that subscription, trips planned, 3, 4, 5 trips at a time, paid for. They don't worry about nothing financially, but they don't even got the time to enjoy their money. They don't have the time to enjoy their money and some of the most essential things that money provides. There are some people who work so much to make money, they have a beautiful home, can't even enjoy the home because they're always at work. It hurts to watch. It hurts watching folks make a lot of money, yet are miserable because they aren't able to truly live the life they dreamed of. Many people with money still commit suicide and experience severe depression. We know some publicly, right? Some public figures, some extremely famous people who had a lot of freaking money and a lot of fame, still depressed, still committed suicide. So I didn't want that for myself because I've had money and I was depressed. I had money and was freaking depressed, contemplating suicide. When I said with a gun to my head, I pretty much had the most money I ever made in my life. Right? I had a freaking sneaker boxes full of money. When I went to prison, my mother's counting. My mother was like, God damn, how much money you had, boy. And that wasn't even the most I had when I got arrested and went to prison. But my mother was like, damn, this count. She needed the neighbor upstairs to help her count the money I had in sneaker boxes, right? That she didn't put in garbage bags. But I was freaking depressed. I was drinking liquor every day, having random sex with random chicks every day. It was insane. So I know that money, like, yeah, money can solve problems. Money bailed me out of prison. I was happy. Money can pay some bills, can afford some trips, can afford some services, mental health services, massage, all of those things that can add to your happiness, that can add to your wellness. But man, listen. So I personally chose to choose time freedom over financial freedom. The beauty is that there are ways to cultivate both. You can have financial freedom and time freedom. You don't have to choose one or the other, right? But one, I think, has to lead, right? Which one am I striving for first? For me, it's time freedom. Now, in my time freedom, I got to figure out then how to generate enough income to do the things I need to do, right? Simple, not easy, right? But simple. Hey, happy Tenacious and Truthful Tuesday. Mona Love said, fool said crazy, can't enjoy their money. Yeah, there's a lot of people like that, man, who make the money, got the bread, can't enjoy it. They're always working, right? But let's move right along, family, to our fourth and final segment of the day. Build of the day. Today's build, Eddie Kruger, what's going on, my brother? Today's build is on the concept of money being the root of all evil. Now, many people quote this as fact. They get it from the Bible, but they don't quote it properly. Money is the root of all evil is not fact. And this is an example of how people regurgitate things they've heard without finding out for themselves. Now, what the Bible says is that the love of money is the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. And I will 100% agree it is. It's that greed, that envy, right? And it leads into so much more, right? On worth. Oh, this person ain't worthy. This person doesn't deserve, right? Going back to the situation with the two cousins who murder-suicide over the sale of the family home. The love of money, right? Oh, nah, I'm supposed to, I could be completely wrong, but I can only imagine how that went. Now, I got to get this much. I got that person. What? Why they get so much? How you getting more than me? How? Nah, F that. The love of money makes one sell drugs to their community, even to their family at times. I've sold drugs to my community. I sold crack to pregnant women. Love of money. I sold crack to pregnant women, man. Like, that's something like, it's not many regrets I have. And clearly I can't go back, so I don't dwell on those things at all. But goddamn, I sold crack to pregnant women, yo. I sold crack to people, and when they owe me money, I put a gun in their face. People in my neighborhood, people who could have been my mother, my father, age-wise, right? My uncle, my aunt, look just like me in my neighborhood. Live in the building around the corner. I know their children and grandchildren. I sold drugs to my friends' parents. Why? Because my friends sold drugs to their parents. So I'm like, it's okay. They're going to get it from somewhere. That was the mindset. Fucking terrible, man. Terrible, terrible. Sickness. Love of money. Love of money. I was hurt. I didn't care. I didn't think. My prefrontal cortex, I'm not thinking logically. I'm not thinking rationally. I'm going pure off instinct. I need to survive. And I need to survive this way. And I'm going to get it by any means necessary. I don't give a fuck who I harm. I don't give a fuck who gets hurt. I don't give a fuck. But what's funny is that even though I didn't give a fuck, right, and even though I did those fucked up things, rest in peace to Janae Cavanagh. Janae Cavanagh got high. And Janae Cavanagh used to buy drugs from me. And Janae Cavanagh, I want to say maybe 20... I don't know if I was a parent already or right before I became a parent, but at some point in the mid 2010 to 2020, at some point in those years, Janae Cavanagh, I'm coming up the escalator in Queensbridge, picked my niece up in the city, coming from Maryland, picked up in the city, we going to my mom's crib, and Janae Cavanagh is on the escalator behind us, and she screams, Ray, yo, I turn around like, yo, Janae, what up? She's like, yo, you know why I love you? She's drunk, early midday, she's already tipsy, she's already on her groove, and she says, yo, you know why I love you? So now we walk up the block together. Me and my niece. My niece is like, hey, right? My niece is a young girl at the time. Like, hey, how you doing? I got her bag. We walking. She got a bag. I got, I'm pulling the bag. Janae's walking beside us. She's like, you know why I love you? She said, excuse my language. And she's, don't give a fuck. If you know Janae, you know. She said, you know why I love you? I said, why you love me, Janae? She said, man, I'll never forget. There was a time I came to buy crack from you. My niece started laughing. So I came to buy crack from you. And I'm thinking it's going to take, 2-3 minutes, get the stuff and leave and go do my thing. Man, we spent 2-3 hours talking. End up giving her the drugs for free, asking about her family. Again, I know her family, nieces, nephews, siblings, right? I know her family. I know her, right? And so I was that person, even though I did some fucked up things, I was also that person who I'm a storyteller. I really care about people. Right, so we sit down. Janae, what's going on? How you doing? I forgot what was happening at the time, but something happened with the family. Oh, how's such and such doing? Everything's okay. Let's sit down. I was drinking, I was smoking. Let her smoke with me, right? Like gave her some of my Hennessy. You gave me some of your Hennessy. Gave me the stuff for free, right? Keep your money. Here, take it. This is what you want. Here, take it. You don't owe me nothing. Don't worry. It's not credit. Like just keep it, right? Keep your money. Take some Hennessy, right? Take some weed. Like set it out. It's my girl, right? But yeah, the love of money, man, and so the love of money, right, is what has led to many robberies turned homicides over the years. Money itself, just a tool, but it comes down to one's attachment to money and they're feeling like they should have more than others, and maybe others should have clearly less, but maybe some folks don't even deserve, right? And then that has led to many, many, many human tragedies over the centuries, right? So yeah, guys, the love of money, the root of all evil. Not money itself. Money itself is currency, is a tool to exchange, right? To get what you need done, to support others, to support yourself, to build, and to create. So let's go get some money, man. Like, let's get some money, right? Like, I got about to launch this fundraiser. I got 100K I need to raise, right, for my business. I got 100K I need to raise. I need to stop playing with myself and put it out there and go get this money. I got some people with some money. I need to go get this money. And so I am this week, next week, going to put out. I'm looking for partners, looking for investors, right? And looking for people to support the business. The business is multi-layered, right? LME, LaShawn Martin Enterprises, is multifaceted. It's coaching, right? It's organizational consulting, right? It's art, media development, right? Helping you fine-tune your story, fine-tune your pitch, helping you get on the media, get in the media, in magazines, and freaking in newspapers, on the news, right? On radio. I got tons of contacts in media, and again, mainstream media like Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 7, Channel 11, mainstream New York media. We got mad connections. Newspapers, Gothamist, and so many other newspapers, local, small, independent, big, major. All right. And what I don't have, I know how to get, right? I'm pretty resourceful. And so that's the business. We're going to put that shit out there. We need to raise 100K though, so we can hire some people, right? So we can, you can't hire a lot of people for 100K, right? But need to hire one person, right? Consistently hire, another 2 people, project-based, right? Need to get some supplies, need to upgrade some technology, right? But yo, listen, guys, that's the show. That's our show today. Sefuse Kofa said the love of money is the root of all evil indeed. Listen, guys, I love you. I appreciate you. To the new people who tuned in today, please do tune in tomorrow. Once again, I'm your boy, your host, LaShawn Sugar Marston. This is episode 470 of SR Daily. SR Daily is where personality meets enlightenment. We're here 5 days a week. So please do join us tomorrow. Wellness and Wisdom Wednesday for episode 471. 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Same channel, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and of course Instagram Live. And remember, it's not getting knocked down that's the problem. It's staying down. So get up! The power is in you. As always, be kind to yourself. Be kind to each other. I appreciate you guys. Peace.